So today for math, we are talking about lesson 2.3, and our learning goal today is to be able to write and interpret math expressions that have parentheses. Okay, so when you write something, you write it out. When you interpret something, that means to make sense of it or to understand what it means. Okay, and when I say write and understand math expressions, what's a math expression? What's another way to say math expression? Drew? Math equation or number sentence, okay? So today's goal is to be able to write and understand what math sentences or number sentences mean. So once again, if I know that from here to here is 5, what math expression could I write to find the entire length of the entire piece of tape? Resisht?
5 times 3.
5 times 3. How did you know it was going to be 5 times 3?
Because each one piece is 5.
Because one piece is 5, okay.
And then there are 3 of them, so you have to do 5 times 3.
And because there's 3 of them, I have to do 5 times 3. This right here is the math expression. When it says to solve or evaluate the math expression, that means to solve it. So what's the answer? What's the solution to this math expression? Reagan? 15. Good. Now, go ahead and draw this piece of tape down here. Let's say I have this piece of tape, and just like the one above, it's split into 3 sections. However, this time, instead of being 5 from here to here, it's an unknown length of A. What math expression could I write to find the entire length of the entire piece of tape? A DT? I could do A times 3. Okay. Is that the same thing as 3 times A?
Mm-hmm.
How do you know that that's the same thing? Alina? Remember, the commutative property tells us that the factors can commute positions. They can change positions, and it still is the same thing. So this, you could find the entire length of this piece of tape by doing A times 3, 1, 2, 3, or 3 times A. Yes? Great. If it says 3 times the sum of 26 and 4, how could you represent that using a picture? Go ahead and try it out in your notebook. Okay, so this time, instead of doing 3 times A or 3 times 5, I have 3 times the sum of 26 and 4. When it says sum, is it talking about addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Sonia? Addition. So what 2 numbers am I adding this time? 26 and 4. Now you may know how to do that in your head, but is it asking you to solve that? No, it's asking you to draw a picture that represents this problem. So it's 26 plus 4. Now I have to multiply it 3 times, so each of these is 26 plus 4. Does that make sense? Does this picture here represent 3 times the sum of 26 plus 4? Yeah. Now how could I write that into a math expression? This is using a picture, right? And if I want to use a math expression, instead of doing 3 times A or 3 times 5, I could do 3 times the sum of 26 plus 4. Okay, so sometimes you might run into a situation where you need to express it using a picture. If that's the case, you would do it this way. If it asks you to express it using a math expression, right here, this is your math expression. Does that make sense? Now, if we wanted to solve this math expression, what do we need to do first? If it's 3 times the sum of 26 and 4, what do we need to do first? Michael? Well, it's asking us to find the sum of 26 plus 4, which is how much? 30. So it's 3 times 30. Is 30 the same thing as the sum of 26 and 4? Yeah. Now can we solve? 3 times 30 is 90. So if it's asking you to find the math expression, it's asking you for the number sentence. If it's asking you for a picture, it's asking for the picture. And if it's asking you to solve, then it's asking you to solve. Okay? Okay, this time when it's asking us to find the sum, we know that sum means addition, right? So we are going to put together, how many 12s should we have? How many 12s should we have? 2 12s. So I'm going to connect 2 pieces that are 12 together. And then how many 3s do I have? 4. So how many do I need? Okay, let's see if I have 4 now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Does this picture now represent 2 12s and 4 3s? Good. Now let's go ahead and write a math expression. How many 12s do I have? Okay, so first I have 2 12s. Actually, I'm going to write that in blue since my 12s are in blue. 2 times 12. Does that represent 2 12s? Okay. And how many 3s do I have? So how can I write, in using numbers, that I have 4 3s? I have to do 4 times 3. Now, what am I doing to these sums? What am I doing to these numbers? Am I adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? Besicht? Adding. So the math expression then would be 2 times 12, 2 12s, added to 4 3s. Please note the parentheses because they separate that this part is the 12s, there's 2 of them, and that there are 4 3s. Okay, so make sure you write the parentheses too. Okay, if it asks us to solve, let's figure out how much I have in the 12s first. If I have 2 12s, 2 times 12, how much is that? 24. And if I have 4 3s, 4 times 3, 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, how much do I have? 12. And am I adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing? It's telling us to find the sum of it, which means I'm adding. So 24 plus 12 is 36. And that's our answer when we solve it. Using words that this is 8 times 43 minus 13. Is that correct? Is this 8 times 43 minus 13? But that's what I see. If I tell you to do 8 times 43 minus 13, what would you do first? Would you do 8 times 43?
Yeah.
Is that what the problem's asking us to do?
No.
No, so this is incorrect. This is not 8 times 43 minus 13. So what is it in word form? Sporty?
8 times the difference of 42 minus
8 times the difference of 43 and 13. Do you guys see the difference between those two word forms? Do you guys see the difference? It's 8 times the difference of 43 and 13. It's not 8 times 13 and then minus, or 8 times 43 and then minus 13. It's 8 times the difference of 43 and 13. What's the difference between these two word forms? Go ahead and talk to your table group. If I were to tell you to do 8 times 43 minus 13, what would you do first? What would be the first thing you would do? Alina? You would multiply 8 and 43. If I tell you to do 8 times the difference of 43 and 13, what would be the first thing you would do? Ella?
43 minus
You would subtract first. Do you guys see the difference in those two word forms? Good. Okay, go ahead and draw a picture that represents 8 times the difference of 43 and 13. This right here is being 9 13ths, and here I have 8 13ths. So do I have, is 9 13ths greater than, less than, or equal to 8 13ths? Greater than. Good. Okay, let's talk about the second one. It says the sum of 9 and 10 doubled. How would I write that? So first I have the sum of 9 and 10. That's 10 plus 9. And if I double it, I have to multiply that whole thing by what? 2. Okay. How does that compare to what I have over here, which is 2 times 10 plus 2 times 9? How does that compare, and how do you know? Itai?
I think it's equivalent because distributive property.
Ah,
The first one is 10 times 2 plus 9.
you got it. The sum of 10 and 9 doubled is the same as 2 times 10, in parentheses, plus 2 times 9. Because if you use the distributive property, you can see that they're the same thing, right? Good. Try this one. 30 15s minus 1 15. If I have 30 15s and I take away one of those 15s, how many 15s do I have left? 29. And on the right-hand side, I have 29 times 15. How do those two math equations compare? Are they greater? Is one greater than, less than, or equal to the other one? Besicht?
They're equal
How do you know?
because 30 15 minus 1 15 is 29 15. So you have to do 29 times 15, which is exactly what the other problem says.
You got it. If I have 30 15s and I take away one, 30 15s minus 1 15, what I have left is 29 15s, which is the same thing as what this side says. So today you will be asked to use what you know about words, the word form of math expressions, and the number form of math expressions to see what they mean. And which one's greater than, less than, or equal to?